Hello everyone. Hey, it's Deb Naylor with the Flying Stamper. It is July 2nd, 2021, and I am here today to talk to you about the June paper pumpkin kit called Expressions in Color. What a beautiful kit. If you got the kit today, last month, you're in for a really nice treat. It's absolutely a stunning kit. Very happy with it. So it came in a really pretty box. I think this box will be really nice to repurpose. Maybe just cover that with some paper and put a gift tag on it and some ribbon around it. It'll be beautiful. Anyway, let's talk about the kit in general, and then we will talk about some alternates. And if you're joining me today live, thank you so much. And if you're watching the replay or joining me on YouTube, thank you so much for joining me. So the kit did make 3 cards, or 3 different designs, a total of 9 cards. So we'll start with this beautiful one right here. It's got the vellum layer and the die cuts and a little bit of twine. It's just absolutely beautiful. It's going to be a nice card to mail out to somebody that needs a hug. I happen to know a few of those people right now. I bet you do too. And then the second card is got that ink coloring technique done on it, and some soft vellum and some twine. And I think this one I've made to send out to somebody that's got maybe a promotion or at their job, or is retired, or has done something, you know, that you want to recognize them a little bit. And then the third one was a little smaller note card size, and it's set up to be a thank you card. So those are the 3 cards that the kit designed. And I always, when I get my kit, I always do exactly what you're supposed to do with it ×1. And then I start playing around to give people alternate ideas, and then to stretch my kit. So for this kit, we should have had a total of 9 cards, and I think I got 14 out of it. So I always feel like I get an extra good bargain when I get that extra couple of cards out of it. So the stamp set that came with the kit is really nice. I store my stamp sets in a clear cello envelope. I don't know if you can see that on there or not. That's how I like to store mine. And then I just put them in a basket. And it's probably not the most organized way, but it works for me. I really like my sentiments from these kits, and I find that I use them quite often. In this particular kit, I really like this ink splash. And then, of course, I'm a floral person, so I love that too. So I think there were some really great sentiments. And then we got, oh my goodness, we got like a bonus this month. We got 2 spots. The Evening Evergreen, which is part of the 2021 to 2023 in colors, and then the Bumblebee. And I didn't have either one of these, so super happy about that. And I've shared this before, but when I open my ink spot, I only cut the label on one end. I leave the back end attached so that my lid stays on there, and it opens up, and you can use it just like you could if you took the lid completely off. They need to be stored upside down, and I always mark mine with a little piece of the cardstock. I punch out a little circle and glue that on. But you could write the color on too, whatever works for you. I just like to have them so I know exactly when I'm looking for them, what I'm grabbing the correct color, and I don't have to turn them all over. So you want to turn them upside down and store them upside down so that the ink comes to the top of the pad and it's nice and juicy for you when you're ready to use it. Okay, and then we got some tags. And I like to remind you guys to use your piercing mat or a foam pad underneath your photo Palmer stamps. You'll get a better image out of them. And then on your tags, I always recommend that you stamp them while they're inside the negative. Then they're not a small little piece that you're trying to move, or, you know, keep it straight and it's not moving around on you. And I always tell you guys to save your negatives, because I usually find a way to use them somehow. So I encourage you to do that. You do have this negative left over, and I'm going to show you a couple different ideas with this. And then you have all these vellum negatives. And I'm going to give you a couple of little ideas on that. And then these. So you have lots of negatives left over on this one. So let's set those to the side. And let me start showing you some of my alternate ideas. Now, if you went to the Paper Pumpkin Possibilities blog hop Tuesday night, you've already seen this idea. When you finished with your kit, you have a leftover French Merci and a German donkey. And those are on vellum, and they were just too pretty to recycle or toss. So I decided everybody knows what those words are, and if I put a thanks on one of those leftover labels, then I've got a really pretty thank you card. So there was one way to use those extra words that you might not use. And then I did have a couple of these left over because I played with the kit. And so that's one idea. Okay, now this is extremely similar to what you just saw, but the main difference is this in here. And I'm going to show you how I did that. So you have this left over, right? So I cut these up and I used them as a stencil. So this is this right here. And then I just used a little bit of washi tape, and I took one of my blending brushes. You can use your spot for this, but since I have the full-size pad, it'll go a lot faster with the full-size pad. And I just inked up my blending brush and then tapped carefully into the area of what is now the stencil that I've made from the negative. And I'm not going to color this whole thing in because I think you can get the idea. I'll go back and show you the card. Then when you're done, you lift this out and you've got that nice stenciled in look. So let me show you what the card looks like again, finished. So you can see that there's a stencil, and there's a stencil, and there's a stencil. And then I did have one more of these little die cuts left over, so I put that in there. And then here's those vellum overlays again. So I used all of those up. I've got two more that I'll show you, or one more card here that I'll show you in just a minute. So here's the next one. So on this one, I did the same thing with this blending brush. I just turned those vellum pieces over, laid them on my mat, and then put that color on the back side, that Evening Evergreen, so that they would pop off this vellum. Now these over here are the Sprig Punch, and I actually got that, so here's the Sprig Punch, from the corners of these leftover negatives. So you can see there's a little extra white space. I got a circle punch there, but here's a full one. So there's plenty of room there to grab a label or a tag or a circle or any kind of almost any punch is going to fit in there. So that's where that sprig came from. And then I punched two of them out. And then I took my friend, Mr. Blender Brush, and colored them in with that Evening Evergreen to kind of tie that all together. Now you can see behind this vellum that there is some stenciling back there. And the stenciling actually is from this. And I just did the same thing with the blender brush. I used the Fresh Frieza color. So that's how I got that back behind that. Now when I got through with that, I had the stencil left over, and I was looking at that stencil and I was like, oh my gosh, that is so pretty. So I just went in and trimmed around it, and it became the focal piece of this card. And again, I used some scraps for the sprig, and then that's one of the labels from the kit, and then I just added a little bit of Evening Elegance organdy ribbon. My niece just got a promotion, so I actually made this card for her to congratulate her on her new job. Okay, so here's another one. Now this one has the vellum, and then it has some of the leftover die cuts, and then I stamped that big, I call it an ink splotch, that big ink splash on Whisper White cardstock. I used Fresh Frieza and the Bumblebee, and then I laid the vellum on top of it. And then this is just a punch out. So there were some things added to this, the card base, and this is the vellum from the kit though. And those little stick-on sequins I've got kind of splattered there. I don't know if you can see those or not. Okay, so let me put those away. I do have more for you. These will all be in the album, the June 2021 alternate album. If you're on Facebook, you'll be able to find them there. And some of them will appear in my blog throughout the month. So here's another alternate. I just took the Bumblebee card base and I stamped it with the floral from the kit. And then I stamped that, and you saw this earlier, but the circle came from this negative, and the flowers from the kit, and then the bumblebee, and then I did do evening evergreen layer behind, and then there's the tag, and I added a little bit of ribbon. And I like to always stamp the corner of my envelopes too, so that's what's going on there. Okay, oh, let's see, I showed you that one already. So sorry. My husband needed a bunch of thank you cards, so I left these kind of plain. It's basically the kit without the stamping on it. Okay, and then You're Amazing. And that's just laying the kit out a little bit differently, and then I used a different punch. And I did do a Fresh Frieza layer on this one. It's on a white card base, a basic white card base. And then this is all stuff from the kit. So it's your card base and then the die cuts and then a different punch out. And then here's that vellum flower. And so I used my friend Mr. Blending Brush again by turning the vellum over. And I sponged in with the Evening Evergreen and then Fresh Frieza and the Bumblebee. And just tapped on the back of the vellum. It picks the ink up really well. And then here's one more vellum. And what I did on this one is I turned the vellum over and I colored with my blends on the back. And then I just laid it on a piece of Whisper White and it kind of pops out. It's a very bright card. I wish I would have went with a little more subtle colors. Okay, so those are my alternates for the month. Several of you asked me about this Expressions in Ink, the coordinating DSP that goes with this kit. And it's currently out of stock, but it will be available again on July 15th if you wanted to order any of that and haven't been able to. I wanted to let you know that. Refill kits for the June 2021 kit are available right now, and those are always while supplies last. So it's better to get them sooner than later because they do disappear fairly quickly. I'm just going to lay these on here so you have something to look at while I'm talking. And those are $10. They include all the consumable products. So the card bases, the envelopes, all the die cuts, all that stuff. They do not include the stamps or the spots. So it's always the consumable stuff. So they're $10, and the refill number, if you want to order one, is 158469. And again, those are while supplies last. All right, it's July 2nd, so we don't have too much longer to wait before our July kits ship out. So a little bit about the July kit. I did post some information on my blog on Tuesday night, but it's called The Adventure Begins, and there will be 12 full-size cards, and it is adventure-themed imagery. The little sneaks on the boxes look like it's kind of a natural camping kind of look, so it might be really good for guy cards or more beautiful kind of like outdoorsy cards. Hard to say, but anyway, if you want to subscribe to that, be sure you do so by July 10th. If you are a current subscriber, you don't need to do anything. And if you wish to skip that month, be sure that you go into your account and either cancel or skip the month. Otherwise, it will be sent to you if you don't do that, if you're set up to be a subscriber. All right, you guys have a really great day. Thanks for joining me today. And if you're watching the replay, thank you so much for doing that. And I will see you later this month after we get our July kits. Take care. Talk to you later. Bye.